So, hello. Welcome to my final reflection. I picked this photo mainly because it's kind of like a meditation towards, what I have done, what I have accomplished, strengths and weaknesses, and what I have learned throughout the process. Um, my research topic is about how people order in a restaurant. I'm particularly interested in, kind of just how people pick dishes out of a menu, what kind of process they've walked through. Um, do they talk to anyone? Does this interactions kind of affect their decision making, etc.? The methodologies I used are mainly three. So, field study, interview, and survey. And they're great because they kind of build upon each other. Say I will design interview questions based on what I've learned throughout like field study. So they really make this research cohesive and comprehensive. For field study, I conducted three an hour long observations in three different restaurants: Red Pepper, Joel, and the Little Thai. I pretty much just eat like a regular customer and just blend in and just take notes on my laptop. So it's, pretty low key, nothing too fancy. So some of the key findings are someone is usually more knowledgeable about the restaurant or the food, and the waiting staff play an important role in the ordering process, both by checking in more often and providing recommendations. The group size may or may not influence the ordering process, really depending on the purpose of dining. So the strength of the work really lies in diversity of the restaurants. I purposefully picked three very different restaurants in terms of pricing and targeted audiences to make the work more strong. And then I also blended the environment really well by just being a customer. So all the observations are clearly natural behaviors. So pick a good seating is definitely the biggest lesson I learned because the layout of the restaurant really kind of influences, where you sit can, if you can see this person doing what or not. And then the noise level really matters because, sometimes I just cannot hear them at all. So for the interviews, I conducted four phone interviews, including three restaurant customers and one food service worker. I wish I could have access to the waiting staff, but it just unfortunately I don't, which kind of sucks. I wish I do. So what I find is that the purpose of dining and familiarity with the food or the restaurant really affects the ordering process, which is not too surprising. What's surprising though is that people tend to think they have different priorities when it comes to picking a restaurant, but they talk about customer service a lot when talk about their favorite restaurant. The strength of the work really lies in the fact that I revised the questions to invite more storytelling from the interviewee's part. I also tried to get two sides of the story by not only just interviewing the customers, but also the people who actually work in the restaurant to get more fresh idea. Lessons learned, definitely recruit early so I could have more access to the waiting staff side. And interview is definitely a soft skill, so I need a lot of practice. There is always a difference between what people say and what they do, so the wording of the questions are really important. For the survey, I just created in Google form and launched it on Facebook to get responses. I got 23 participants, including 20 restaurant customers and 3 waiting staff, which I think is pretty good. Some key findings are when people eat out for different reasons, the interaction with the waiting staff and expectation towards the waiting staff really vary. And when people eat out less often, they're more likely to use other resources to help them pick dishes. And they're more likely to find our restaurant in a more diverse way, such as Yelp, social media, and local events. So I did a pilot run on a survey before launch that really gave me a chance to modify the survey to make it more effective. And then the use of multiple choice grid instead of just multiple choice really give the users a chance to rate in a really relative fashion to say this is more important than the other, not just this is important and the other one is not. Lessons learned. Data analysis, so much hard work, so be prepared to make time for it. And then wording actually really matters because that's pretty much your only tool you can use to communicate with your users. Be prepared to throw out some data points. I don't know why, but they're just these evil people want to ruin your data sometimes. Overall, I think this class is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed user research and I've learned so much. I particularly like designing, kind of thinking about what I find out and what I want to find out, and then put them together into one piece. This class really teach me that detail is the door, that you collect all the details when you're conducting research, taking notes, and then you pay attention to all the details when you're kind of, you know, analyzing it and then putting all the details together into one finding. And obviously, this class is really writing intensive. At the beginning, I'm just like, oh, long reports. But later on, I really learned that writing is just so powerful. It kind of forced me to really um, connect all the dots and really to make sense of all the data. And one thing I think it's super fun about user research is that you really realize how everything builds upon one another. After I finish all my research, I see how each of the three methodologies really just kind of have this natural gravity towards each other, just like interconnected. It's really, really cool. Learning is just endless. I've learned so much in this class by just doing it, get critique, and doing it even more. And at the end, just want to give a big thanks to Spencer, our beautiful TA, for putting so much time and efforts helping me out throughout the way. Happy summer!